How's everybody's Monday going? Is it going well? Also, congrats Nix on the first. Thank you, Dave, for the reminder. I mean, if you're still here. I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it for the reading. What I'm gonna do is do Anne of Green Gables, 2 chapters, as usual. And then I'm gonna roll into Die Father Tod, and do a little bit of that. And then from there, roll into Sunny. And then if we have time, depending on what happens with Dave when Dave gets back from his driving practice and whatnot, we might game or we might not. We'll see. Today is open. If we game, we'll probably do Vintage Story, because that was a lot of fun last night. But first, study. Okay. Gotta do my YouTube intro. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Anne of Green Gables. We are on 25. Matthew insists on puff. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who supports the channel, and there will be more info on how you video. Let's get Matthew was having a bad 10 minutes of it. He had come into the kitchen in the twilight of cold, gray December evening, and sat down in the wood box corner to take off his heavy boots, unconscious of the fact that Anne and a bevy of her schoolmates were having a practice of the Fairy Queen in the sitting room. Presently, they came troping through the hall and out into the kitchen, laughing and chattering gaily. They did not see Matthew, who shrank bashfully back into the shadows beyond the wood box with one boot in hand and a boot jack in another. And he watched them shyly for the aforesaid 10 minutes as they put on caps and jackets and talked about the dialogue and the concert. Anne stood among them, bright-eyed and animated as they. But Matthew suddenly became conscious that there was something about her different from her mates. And what worried Matthew was that the difference impressed him as being something that should not exist. Anne had a brighter face, and bigger, starrier eyes, and more delicate features than the other. Even shy, unobservant Matthew had learned to take note of these things. But the difference that disturbed him did not consist in any of these respects. Then, in what did it consist? Matthew was haunted by this question long after the girls had gone, arm in arm, down the long, hard-frozen lane, and Anne had betaken herself to her books. He could not refer it to Marilia, who, he felt, would be quite sure to sniff scornfully and remark that the only difference she saw between Anne and the other girls was that they sometimes kept their tongues quiet, while Anne never did. This, Matthew felt, would be no great help. He had recourse put his pipe that evening to help him study it out, much to Marilia's disgust. After 2 hours of smoking and hard reflection, Matthew arrived at the solution of his problems. Anne was not dressed like the other girls. The more Matthew thought about the matter, the more he was convinced that Anne had never been dressed like the other girls, ever since she had come to Green Gables. Marilia kept her clothed in plain, dark dresses, all made after the same unvarying pattern. If Matthew knew there was such a thing as fashion in dress, it was as much as he did. But he was quite sure that Anne's sleeves did not look at all like the sleeves the other girls wore. He recalled the cluster of the little girls he had seen around her that evening, all gay in waists of red and blue and pink and white, and he wondered why Marilia always kept her so plainly and soberly gowned. Of course, it must be all right. Marilia knew best. really was bringing her up. Probably some wise, inscrutable motive was to be served thereby. But surely it would do no harm to let the child have one pretty dress, something like Diana Barry always wore. Matthew decided that he would give her one. That surely would not be objected to as an unwarranted putting in of his oar. Christmas was only a fortnight off. A nice new dress would be the very thing for a present. Matthew, with a sigh of satisfaction, put away his pipe and went to bed, while Maria opened all the doors and aired the house. The very next evening Matthew betook himself to Carmody to buy the dress, determined to get the worst over and have it done with. It would be, he felt assured, no trifling ordeal. There were some things Matthew could buy and prove himself no mean bargainer, but he knew he'd be at the mercy of the shopkeepers when it came to buying a girl's dress. After much longingation, Matthew resolved to go to Samuel Lawson's store instead of William Blair's. To be sure, the Cuthberts always had gone to William Blair's. It was almost as much a matter of conscience with them as to attend the Presbyterian church and vote Conservative. But William Blair's two daughters frequently waited on customers there, and Matthew held them in absolute dread. He could contrive to deal with them when he knew exactly what he wanted and could point it out. But in such a matter as this, requiring explanation and consultation, Matthew felt that he must be sure of a man behind the counter. So he would go to Lawson's, or Samuel or his son would wait on him. Alas, Matthew did not know that Samuel, in the recent expansion of his business, had set up a lady clerk also. She was the niece of his wife's and a very dashing young person, with a huge, drooping pompadour, big, rolling brown eyes, and a most extensive and bewildering smile. She was dressed with exceeding smartness and wore several bangled bracelets that glittered and rattled and twinkled with every movement of her hand. Matthew was covered with confusion at finding her there at all, and those bangles completely wrecked his wits at one fell swoop. "What can I do for you this evening, Mr. Cuthbert?" Miss Lucilla Harris inquired, briskly and ingratiatingly, tapping the counter with both hands. "Have you any, 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 well, now, say, any garden rakes?" stammered Matthew. Miss Harris looked somewhat surprised, as well as she might, to hear a man inquiring for garden rakes in the middle of December. I believe we have one or two left over," she said, "but they're upstairs in the lumber room. I'll go and see." During her absence, Matthew collected his scattered senses for another effort. When Miss Harris returned with the cake and cheerfully inquired, "Anything else tonight, Mr. Cuthbert?" Matthew took his courage in both hands and replied, "Well, now, since you suggest it, I might as well that is, look at maybe buy some hayseed." Miss Harris had heard Mr. Cuthbert called odd. She now concluded that he was entirely crazy. "We only keep one hayseed in the spring," she explained loftily. "We have none on hand just now." "Oh, certainly, certainly, just as you say," stammered unhappy Matthew, seizing the rake and making for the door. At the threshold he recollected that he had not paid for it, and he turned miserably back. While Mrs. Harris was counting out his change, he rallied his powers for a final desperate attempt. "Well, now, if it isn't too much trouble, I might as well. I mean, that is, I'd like to look at sugar." "White or brown?" queried Miss Harris patiently. "Oh, well, now, brown," said Matthew feebly. There's a barrel of it over there, said Mrs. Harris, shaking her bangles at it. It's the only kind we have. I'll I'll take 20 pounds of it, said Matthew, with beads of perspiration standing on his forehead. Matthew had driven halfway home before he was his own man again. It had been a gruesome experience, but it served him right, he thought, for committing the heresy of going to a strange store. When he reached home, he hid the rake in the tool house with the sugar he carried into Marilia. Brown sugar, exclaimed Marilia. Whatever possessed you to get so much? You know, I never use it except for the hired man's porridge or black fruit cake. Jerry's gone. I made my cake long ago. It's not good sugar either. It's coarse and dark. William Blair doesn't usually keep sugar like that. I I thought it might come in handy sometime, said Matthew, making good his escape. When Matthew came to think the matter over, he decided that a woman was required to cope with the situation. Maria was out of the question. Matthew felt sure she would throw cold water on his project at once. Remained only Miss Linda, for no other woman in Avalonia Matthew had dared to ask advice. Miss Linda he went accordingly, and that good lady promptly took the matter out of the harassed man. Pick out a dress for you to give to Anne. Be sure I will. I'm going to Carmody tomorrow, and I'll attend to it. Have you something particular in mind? No? Well, I'll just go by my own judgment then. I believe a nice rich brown would just suit Anne, and William Blair has some new Gloria in that's really pretty. Perhaps you'd like me to make it up for her too, seeing that if Marilla was to make it, Anne would probably get wind of it before the time to spoil the surprise. Well, I'll do it. No, it isn't a minor trouble. I like sewing. I'll make it to fit my niece, Jenny Gillis, for she and Anne are as like as two peas as far as the figure goes. Oh, now, I'm much obliged, said Matthew, and I don't know, but I think they make the sleeves different nowadays to what they used to be. They wouldn't be asking too much. I I'd like them made that way. Puffs? Of course. You needn't worry a speck more about it, Matthew. I'll make it up in the very latest fashion, said Mrs. Linda. Herself she added, when Matthew had gone. It will be a real satisfaction to see that poor child wearing something decent for once. The way Marilla addresses her is positively ridiculous, that's what. And I've ached to tell her so plainly a dozen times. I've held my tongue, though, for I can see Marilla doesn't want advice, and she thinks she knows more about bringing children up than I do, for all she's an old maid. But that's always the way. Folks that has brought up children know that there's no hard and fast method in the world that'll suit every child. But them as never have think it's all as plain and easy as rule of 3. Just set your 3 terms down so fashion. That'll some work out correct. But flesh and blood don't come under the head of arithmetic, and that's where Marilla Cuthbert makes her mistake. I suppose she's trying to cultivate a spirit of humility in Anne by dressing her as she does, but it's more likely to cultivate envy and discontent. I'm sure the child must feel the difference between her clothes and the other girls, but to think of Matthew taking notice of it. That man is waking up after being asleep for over 60 years. Hey, Rizel, thank you for the pets. Thank you. Aurelia knew all the following fortnight that Matthew had something on, but what it was she could not guess. Until Christmas Eve, when Miss Linda brought up the new dress. Marilia behaved pretty well on the whole, although it's very likely she'd have trusted Miss Linda's diplomatic explanation that she had made the dress because Matthew was afraid Anne would find out about it too soon if Marilia made it. So this is what Matthew has been looking so mysteriously over and grinning about to himself for 2 weeks, is it? He said a little stiffly but tolerantly. I knew he was up to some foolish. Well, I must say, I don't think Anne needs any more dresses. I made her 3 good, warm, serviceable ones this fall, and anything more is sheer extravagance. There's enough material in those sleeves alone to make a waist, I declare there is. You'll just pamper Anne's vanity, Matthew, and she's as vain as a peacock now. Well, I hope she'll be satisfied at last, for I know she's been hankering for those after those silly sleeves ever since they came in. Although she never said a word after the first, those puffs have been getting bigger and more ridiculous right along. They're as big as balloons now. Next year, anybody who wears them will have to go through a door sideways. Christmas morning broke on a beautiful white rill. It had been a very mild December, and people had looked forward to a green Christmas. But just enough snow fell shortly in the night to transfigure Avalonia. Anne peeped out from her frosted gable window with delighted eyes. The firs in the haunted woods were all feathery and wonderful. The birches and wild cherry trees were outlined in pearl. The plowed fields were stretches of snowy dimples, and there was a crisp tang in the air that was glorious. Anne ran downstairs singing until her voice re-echoed through Green Gables. Merry Christmas, Marilia. Merry Christmas, Matthew. Isn't it a lovely Christmas? I'm so glad it's white. Any other Christmas doesn't seem real, does it? I don't like green Christmases. They're not green. They're just nasty faded browns and grays. What makes people call them green? Why, why, Matthew, is that for me? Oh, Matthew! Matthew had sheepishly unfolded the dress from his paper swathings, held it out with a deprecatory glance at Marilla, who feigned to be contemptuously filling the teapot, but nevertheless watched the scene out of the corner of her eye with a rather interested air. Anne took the dress and looked at it in reverent silence. Oh, how pretty it was! A lovely soft brown Gloria, filled with all the gloss of silk, a skirt with dainty frills and shirrings, a waist elaborately pin-tucked in the most fashionable way, with a little ruffle of filmy lace at the neck, for the sleeves. They were the crowning glory. Long elbow cuffs, and above them 2 beautiful puffs divided by rows of shirring and bows of brown silk ribbon. That's a Christmas present for you, Anne, said Matthew. Why, Anne, don't you like it? Well, no. Well, no. Her Anne's eyes had suddenly filled with tears. Like it. Oh, Matthew. Anne laid the dress over a chair and clasped her hands. Matthew, it's perfectly exquisite. I can't thank you enough. Look at those sleeves. Oh, it seems to me this must be a happy dream. Well, let us have breakfast, interrupted Aurelia. I must say, Anne, I don't think you need the dress, but since Matthew has got it for you, you see you take good care of it. There's a hair ribbon Mrs. Linda left for you. It's brown to match the dress. Come now, sit in. I don't see how I'm going to eat breakfast, said Anne rapturously. Breakfast seems so commonplace at such an exciting moment. I'd rather feast my eyes on that dress. I'm so glad that puff sleeves are still fashionable. It seemed to me that I'd never get over it if they went out before I had a dress with them. I never have felt quite satisfied, you see. It was lovely of Mrs. Linda to give me the ribbon, too. I feel that I ought to be a very good girl indeed. It's at times like this I'm sorry I'm not a model little girl. I always resolve that I will be in the future. But somehow it's hard to carry out your resolutions when irresistible temptations times. Still, I really will make an extra effort after this. When the commonplace breakfast was over, Diana appeared, crossing the white log bridge in the hollow, a gay little figure in her crimson ulster. Anne flew down the slope to meet her. Merry Christmas, Diana. And oh, it's a wonderful Christmas. I have something splendid to show you. Matthew has given me the loveliest dress, with such sleeves. I couldn't even imagine any nicer. I've got something for you, said Diana breathlessly. Here, this box. Aunt Josephine sent us out to a big box with ever so many things in it, and this is for you. I had brought it over last night, but it didn't come until after dark, and I never feel very comfortable coming through the haunted woods in the dark now. Anne opened the box and peeped in. First a card with "For the Anne girl" and "Merry Christmas" written on it. And then a pair of the daintiest little kid slippers with beaded toes and satin bows and glistening buckles. Oh, said Anne. Diane, this is too much. I must be dreaming. I call it providential, said Diana. You won't have to borrow Ruby's slippers now, and that's a blessing, for they're 2 sizes too big for you. And it'd be awful to hear a fairy shuffle. Josie Pye would be delighted. Mind you, Rob Blight went home with Gertie Pye from the practice the night before last. Did you ever hear anything equal to that? All Avalonia scholars were in fever of excitement that day, for the hall had to be decorated and a last grand rehearsal held. The concert came off in the evening and was a pronounced success. The little hall was crowded, and all the performers did I'm sorry, exceptionally well. But Anne was the bright particular star of the occasion, as even envy, in the shape of Josie Pye, dared not deny. Oh, hasn't it been a brilliant evening? Sighed Anne, when it was all over and she and Diana were walking home together under a dark, starry sky. Everything went off very well, said Diana practically. I guess we must have made as much as $10. Mind you, Mr. Allen is going to send an account of it to the Charlottetown papers. Oh, Diana, will we really see our names in print? It makes me thrill to think of it. Your solo was perfectly elegant, Diana. I felt prouder than you did when it was encored. I just said to myself, it is my dear bosom friend who is so honored. Well, your recitations just brought down the house, Anne. The sad one was simply splendid. Oh, I was so nervous, Diana. When Mr. Allen called out my name, I really cannot tell how I ever got up to that platform. I felt as if a million eyes were looking at me and through me. For one dreadful moment, I was sure I couldn't begin at all. And then I thought of my lovely puffed sleeves and took courage. I knew that I must live up to those sleeves, Diana. So I started in. My voice seemed to be coming from ever so far away. I just felt like a parrot. It's providential that I practiced those recitations so often in the garret. I'd never been able to get through. Did I groan all right? Yes, indeed. You've grown lovely, assured Diana. I saw Mrs. Sloane wiping away tears when I sat down. It was splendid to think I had touched somebody's heart. It's so romantic to take part in a concert, isn't it? Oh, it's been a very memorable occasion indeed. Wasn't the boys' dialogue fine? Said Diana. Gilbert Blythe was just splendid. And I do think it's awfully mean the way you treat Gil. Wait till I tell you, when you ran off the platform after the fairy dialogue, one of your roses fell out of your hair. I saw Gil pick it up and put it in his breast pocket. There now. You're so romantic that I'm sure you ought to be pleased at that. It's nothing to me what that person does, said Anne loftily. I simply never waste a thought on him. That night, Aurelia and Matthew, who had been out to the concert for the first time in 20 years, sat for a while by the kitchen fire after Anne had gone to bed. Well, now, I guess our Anne did as well as any of them, said Matthew proudly. Yes, she did, admitted Aurelia. She's a bright child, Matthew. And she looked real nice, too. I've been kind of opposed to this concert scheme, but I suppose there's no real harm in it after all. Anyhow, I was so proud of Anne tonight, although I'm not going to tell her so. Well, now, I was proud of her, and I did tell her, before she went upstairs, said Matthew. We must see what we can do for her some of these days, Morelia. I guess she'll need something more than Avalonia School by and by. There's time enough to think of that, said Morelia. She's only 13 in March, though tonight it struck me she was growing quite a big girl. Miss Linda made that dress a mite too long. That makes Anne look so tall. She's quick to learn, and I guess the best thing we could do for her will be to send her to Queen's after a spell. But nothing need be said about that for a year or two yet. Well, now, it'll do no harm to be thinking it over off and on, said Matthew. Things like that are all the better for lots of thinking over. Chapter 26. Story Club is formed. Junior Avalonia found it hard to settle down to humdrum existence. To Anne in particular, things seemed fearfully flat, stale, and unprofitable after the goblet of excitement she had been sipping for. She'd go back to the formal, quiet pleasures of those faraway days before the concert. At first, she told Diana she did not really think she could. I'm positively certain, Diana, that life can never be quite the same again as it was in those olden days, she said mournfully, as if referring to a period of at least 50 years back. Perhaps after a while I'll get used to it. I'm afraid concerts spoil people for everyday life. I suppose that is why Marilia disapproves of them. Marilia is such a sensible woman. It must be a great deal. Sorry. It must be a great deal better to be sensible. But still, I don't believe I'd really want to be a sensible person, because they're so unromantic. Miss Linda says there is no danger of my ever being one, but you can never tell. I feel just now that I may grow up to be sensible yet. But perhaps that is only because I'm tired. I simply couldn't sleep last night for ever so long. I just lay awake and imagined the concert over and over again. That's one splendid thing about a film such. It's so lovely to look back on them. Eventually, Avalonia School slipped back to its old groove, took up its old interests. To be sure, the concert left traces. Ruby Gillis and Emma White, who had quarreled over a point of precedence in their platform seats, no longer sat at the same desk. A promising friendship of 3 years was broken up. Josie Pye and Julia Bell did not speak for 3 months because Josie Pye told Bessie Wright that Julia Bell's bow she got up to recite made her think of a chicken jerking its. And Bessie told none of the Salones would have any dealing with the Bells because the Bells had declared that the Salones had too much to do in the program, and the Salones had retorted that the Bells were not capable of doing the little they had to do properly. Finally, Charlie Sloane fought Moody Spurgeon McPherson because Moody Spurgeon had said that Anne Shirley put on airs about her recitation, and Moody Spurgeon was licked. Consequently, Moody Spurgeon's sisters, Ella May, would not speak to Anne Shirley all the rest of the winter, with the exception of these trifling frictions. work in Miss Stacy's little kingdom on went on with regularity and smoothness. The winter weeks slipped by. It was an unusually mild winter. There was so little snow that Anne and Diana could go to school nearly every day by way of the birch path. On Anne's birthday, they were tripping lightly down it, keeping eyes and ears alert amid all their chatter, for Miss Stacy had told them that they must soon write a composition on A Winter's Walk in the Woods, and it behooved them to be observant. Just think, Diana. I'm 13 years old today, remarked Anne in her awed voice. I can scarcely realize that I'm in my teens. When I woke up this morning, it seemed to me that everything must be different. You've been 13 for a month, so I suppose it doesn't seem such a novelty to you as it does to me. It makes life seem so much more interesting. In 2 more years, I'll really be grown up. It's a great comfort to think that I'll be able to use big words then without being laughed at. Ruby Gillis says she needs to have a beau as soon as she's 15, said Diana. Ruby Gillis thinks of nothing but beaux, said Anne disdainfully. She's actually delighted when anyone writes her name up in a take notice for all she pretends to be so mad. I'm afraid that is an uncharitable speech. Mrs. Allen says we should never make such uncharitable speeches, but they do slip out so often before you think, don't they? I simply can't talk about Josie Pye without making an uncharitable speech. I never mention her at all. You may have noticed that. I'm trying to be as much like Mrs. Allen as I possibly can, for I think she's perfect. Mr. Allen thinks so, too. Miss Linda says he just worships the ground she treads on, and she doesn't really think it right for a minister to set his affections so much on a mortal. Then, Diana, even ministers are human and have their besetting sins, just like everyone else. I had such an interesting talk with Mrs. Allen about besetting sins last Sunday. There are just a few things it's proper to talk about on Sunday, and that is one of them. My besetting sin is imagining too much and forgetting my duties. I'm striving very hard to overcome it. Now that I'm really 13, perhaps I'll get on better. In 4 more years, we'll be able to put up our hair, said Diana. Alice Bell is only 16 and she's wearing hers up. I think that's ridiculous. I shall wait until I'm 17. If I had Alice Bell's crooked nose, said Anne decidedly, I wouldn't. But there. I won't say what I was going to say because it's extremely uncharitable. Besides, I was comparing it with my own nose, and that's vanity. I'm afraid I think too much about my nose ever since I heard that compliment about it long ago. It is really a great comfort to me. Oh, Diana, look, there's a rabbit. That's something to remember for our woods composition. I really think the woods are just as lovely in winter as in summer. They're so white and still, as if they were asleep and dreaming pretty dreams. I won't mind writing that composition when it's time, said Diana. I can manage to write about the woods. The one we're to hand in Monday is terrible. The idea of Miss Stacy telling us to write a story out of our own heads. Why, it's as easy as a wink, said Anne. It's easy for you because you have an imagination, retorted Diana. But what would you do if you had been born without one? I suppose you have your composition all done? Anne nodded, trying hard not to look virtuously complacent and failing miserably. I wrote it last Monday evening. It's called The Jealous Rival, or In Death Not Divided. I read it to Marilia, said it was stuff and nonsense. Then I read it to Matthew, and he said it was fine. That is the kind of critic I like. It's a sad, sweet story. I just cried like a child while I was writing it. It's about two beautiful maidens called Cordelia Montmorency and Geraldine Seymour, who lived in the same village and were devotedly attached to each other. Cordelia was a regal brunette with a coronet of midnight hair and dusky flashing eyes. Geraldine was a queenly blonde with hair like spun gold and velvety purple eyes. I never saw anybody with purple eyes, said Diana dubiously. Neither did I. I just imagined them. I wanted something out of the common. Geraldine had an alabaster brow, too. Found out what an alabaster brow is. That is one of the advantages of being 13. You know so much more than you did when you were only 12. Well, what became of Cordelia and Geraldine? Asked Diana, who was beginning to feel rather invested in their fate. Oh, I'm sorry, Mon. I hope it gets better. I hope you win a match. They grew in beauty side by side till they were 16. Then Bertram de Vera came to their native village and fell in love with the fair Geraldine. Hmm? Oh, funny to win? I mean, it is Overwatch. He saved her life when her horse ran away with her in a carriage, and she fainted in his arms, and he carried her home 3 miles, because, you understand, the carriage was all smashed up. I found it rather hard to imagine the proposal because I had no experience to go by. I asked Ruby Gillis if she knew anything about how men propose, because I thought she'd be an authority on the subject, having so many sisters. Ruby told me she hid in the hall pantry when Malcolm Anders proposed to her sister Susan. Said that Malcolm had told Susan that his dad had given him the farm in his own name and then said, "What do you say, darling pet, if we get hitched this fall?" And Susan said, "Yes." "No, no, no. Let's see." And there they were, engaged as quick as that. I didn't think that sort of proposal was a very romantic one. So in the end, I had to imagine it out as well as I could. I made it very flowery and poetical, and Bertram went on his knees, although Ruby Gila says it isn't done now. Geraldine accepted him in a speech a page long. I can tell you I took a lot of trouble with that speech. I rewrote it 5 times, and I look upon it as my masterpiece. Bertram gave her a diamond ring and a ruby necklace, told her they would go to Europe for a wedding tour, for he was immediately wealthy. But then, alas, shadows began to darken over their path. Cordelia was secretly in love with Bertram herself, and when Geraldine told her about the engagement, she was simply furious, especially when she saw the necklace and the diamond ring. All her affection for Geraldine turned to a bitter hate, and she vowed that she should never marry Bertram. But she pretended to be Geraldine's friend, same as ever. One evening, they were standing on a bridge over a rushing turbulent stream, and Cordelia, thinking they were alone, pushed Geraldine over the brink with a wild mocking "aha." But Bertram saw it all, and he at once plunged into the current, exclaiming, "I will save thee, my peerless Geraldine." But alas, he had forgotten he couldn't swim, and they were both drowned, clasped in each other's arms. Their bodies washed ashore soon afterwards. They were buried in one grave, and their funeral was the most imposing, Diana. It was so much more romantic to end a story with a funeral than a wedding. As for Cordelia, she went insane with remorse, and was shut up in a lunatic asylum. I thought that was poetical retribution for her crime. "How perfectly lovely," sighed Diana, who belonged to Matthew's school of critics. "I don't see how you can make up such a thrilling thing out of your own head, Anne. I wish my imagination was as good as yours." "I would be if you'd only cultivated." said Anne cheerfully. I've just thought of a plan, Diana. Let you and me have a story club all on our own and write stories for practice. I'll help you along until you can do them by yourself. You ought to cultivate your imagination, you know. Mrs. Stacy says so. Only, you must take the right way. I told her about the haunted woods, but she said we went the wrong way about it in that. This was how the story club came into existence. It was limited to Diana and Anne at first, but soon it was extended to include Jane Andrews and Ruby Gillis, and one or two others who felt that their imaginations needed cultivating. No boys were allowed in it, although Ruby Gillis opined that their omission would make it more exciting, and each member had to produce one story a week. It's extremely interesting, Anne told Marilia. Each girl has to read her story out loud and then we talk it over. We're going to keep them all scarcely, and have them read to our descendants. We each write under a nom de plume. Mine is Rosamond Montmorency. All the girls do pretty well. Ruby Gillis is rather sentimental. She puts too much love-making into her stories, and you know too much is worse than too little. Jane never puts any because she said it makes her feel so silly when she reads it out loud. Jane's stories are extremely sensible. Then Diana puts too many murders into hers. She says most of the time she doesn't know what to do with people, so she kills them off to get rid of them. I mostly always have to tell them to write about them, but it isn't hard, for I have millions of ideas. I think the story writing business is the foolishest yet, scoffed Marilla. You'll get a pack of nonsense into your heads and waste time that should be put on your lessons. Reading stories is bad enough, but writing them is worse. But we're so careful to put a moral into them, explained Anne. I insist upon that. All the good people are rewarded and all the bad ones are suitably punished. I'm sure that must have a wholesome effect. The moral is the great thing. Mr. Allen says so. I read one of my stories to him, and Mrs. Allen and they both agreed that the moral was excellent. Only they laughed in the wrong places. I like it better when people cry. Jane and Ruby almost always cry when I come to the pathetic part. Diana wrote her Aunt Josephine about her club, and her Aunt Josephine wrote back that we were to send her some of our stories. So we copied out 4 of our very best and sent them. Mrs. Josephine Barry wrote back that she had never read anything so amusing in her. That kind of puzzled us because the stories were all very pathetic and almost everybody died. And I'm glad Miss Barry liked them. It shows our club is doing some good in the world. Mrs. Allen says that ought to be the object in everything. I do really try to make it my object, but I forget so often when I hope I shall be a little like Mrs. Allen when I... Do you think there is any prospect of it, Marilia? I shouldn't say there was a great deal, was Marilia's encouraging answer. I'm sure Mrs. Allen was never such a silly, forgetful little girl as you are. No, but she wasn't always so good as she is now, either, said Anne seriously. She told me herself. She said she was a dreadful mischief when she was a girl, but she was always getting into scrapes. I felt so encouraged when I heard that. Is it very wicked of me, Marilia, to feel encouraged when I hear that other people have been bad and mischievous? Mrs. Linda says it is. Miss Linda says she always feels shocked when she hears of anyone ever having been naughty, no matter how small they were. Miss Linda says she once heard a minister confess that he was a boy. He stole a strawberry tart out of his aunt's pantry, and she never had any respect for that minister again. Now, I wouldn't have felt that way. I'd have thought that it was a real noble of him to confess it, and I have thought what an encouraging thing it would be for small boys nowadays to do naughty things and are sorry for them to know that perhaps they may grow up to be ministers in spite of it. That's how I'd feel, Marilla. Well, the way I feel at present, Anne, said Marilla, is that it's high time you had those dishes washed. You've taken half an hour longer than you should with all your chattering. Learn to work first and talk afterwards. There we go. Our next chapter is chapter 7, Vanity and Vexation of the Spirits. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's switch over to the Father Told. And my pronunciation of some words is going to be a little off. Apologize. But it is the way it crumbles. Okay. As we switch over, Terry Pratchett, the Father Told. There we left. Can we only do like a page? Okay. Okay, let's get started. Oh man, throat. Alright. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome back to more of The Father Told by Terry Pratchett. This is being read in German. Ooh, so I should say, herzlich willkommen. As you know, thank you for supporting the channel, and you can always like, subscribe, more information at the end. And let's get started. Mort van Interesse an den Stein. Enthält eine geschnörkelte Allen, die aus den Anfangstagen der Welt stammten. Niemand wusste, warum der Koffer damals solchen Wert darauf gelegt hatte. Einer diesen entstehen zu lassen. Mord interessierte sich für viele Dinge, zum Beispiel dafür, weshalb die menschlichen Zähne so gut zusammenpassten. Er hatte lange über diese Frage nachgedacht. Auch darüber, aus welchen unerfindlichen Gründen die Sonne ausgerechnet am Tag über den Himmel brach, obgleich ihr Licht während der Nacht weitaus nützlicher gewesen war. Er kannte die üblichen Erklärungen, aber sie befriedigten seine Neugier nicht. Mit anderen Worten, Mord gehört zu den Leuten, die gefährlicher sind als ein Sack voller Klapperschlägen. Er war entschlossen, über die Elementarlogik des Universums Aufschluss zu gewinnen, was enorm schwierig sein musste, weil es überhaupt eine gab. Der Schöpfer hatte einige bemerkenswert gute Ideen, als er die Scheibenwelt formierte. Doch Verständlichkeit stand nicht auf der Liste seiner Optionen. Tragische Helden stochen immer, wenn die Götter ihre Aufmerksamkeit auf sie richten. Doch wirklich kaum dran sind die Gegner, die einigen, die von die Göttern nicht beachtet werden. Mord heute die wie üblich verärgert klingende Stimme seines Vaters. Er warf den Stein nach einer Taube, die gleich Flugzeugträger auswich. Fußte und kehrte über den Ecke zurück. Einige Tage später machten sich Vater und Sohn auf den Weg. Am Silvesterabend verließen sie die Berge und reisten nach Saarbrücken. Ein verdrießlich und mürrisch wirkender Diesel trug den Sack. der Mords geringe Habt enthält. Das Dorf bestand eigentlich nur aus einem aufeingepflasterten Platz. Auf vier Seiten von Laden und Geschäften gesamt, die alle notwendigen Dienstleistungen einer landwirtschaftlichen Gemeinschaft anboten. Nach 5 Minuten kam Mord aus der Stube des Schneiders und trug ein weites, braunes und undefinierbares und undefinierbares Kleidungsstück, von dem sich der Führer Besitzer aus gutem Grund getrennt hatte. Es schien für einen 19-beinigen 19-beinigen Elefanten bestimmt zu sein und bot daher genug Platz, um ihn einzuwaschen. Plötzlich musterte seinen Sohn kritisch. Sehr hubisch, wenn man den Preis bedenkt, behauptete er kühn. Es kratzt, sagt Mord, und ich glaube, ich bin hier drin nicht allein. Tausende von Jugend im ganzen Land waren überglücklich, ein so herrlich warmes. Letztlich suchte nach den richtigen Worten. Sie waren ihr eigen nennen zu können. Kann ich es einem von ihnen überlassen? Fragte Mord hoffnungsvoll. Du musst wundervoll aussehen, sagt letztlich streng. Du musst einen guten Eindruck machen, aus der Menge fragen. Letzteres fiel ihm bestimmt nicht sehr schwer. Vater und Sohn fanden sich einen Weg durch das Gedränge die Drangranger auf dem Platz und jeder von ihnen lauschte den eigenen Gedanken. Für gewöhnlich fand Mord großen Gefallen daran, den Ort zu besuchen. Er mochte die kosmopolitische, internationale Atmosphäre in Saarbrücken und hörte gern die fremdartigen Dialekte von Leuten, die aus Fund oder sogar den Mailand entfernten Dörfern stammten. Diesmal aber entstand Unbehagen in ihm, und er hat das ebenso seltsame wie unangenehme Gefühl, sich an etwas zu erinnern, das erst nach gehenden musste.
Thank you for the follow, Kay. Thank you, thank you. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. And I apologize for my bad German in advance.
Der Gewerbemarkt, den auf folgende Weise zu funktionieren, die Nachtarbeit suchenden Männer warten auf der Mitte des Platzes und bildeten eine lange Reihe. Die meisten von ihnen hatten Leichen an die Hütten befestigt, um dem Rest der Welt ihren Beruf mitzuteilen. Oh, Caden. Oh, my apologies. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Schaffer trugen Wollstreifen für Leute ein Büschel aus Pferdehaar, innen ausstatte kleine Fetzen, interessante Sacklein ins Abten, Sacklein enttappten und so weiter und so fort. Wer sich einen Ausbildung Vertrag erhoffte, stand auf der mitwartigen Seite dieser Plätze. Gesell dich einfach zu den anderen, sagte letztlich und fügte unsicher hinzu. Dann kommt jemand und bietet der eine Lehrstelle an. Wenn du einen guten Eindruck machst, wenn du den Leuten gefällst,
Wenn war plötzlich ziemlich sicher, dass mit seinem Sohn nach Hause zurückkehren musste. Und wenn jemand mich hier antritt, fragt Mord, was passiert dann? Nun begann Letzig und brach ab. Über diesen Punkt hatte Hamish geschwiegen. Er besann sich auf sein beschränktes Wissen über Makta, das vor allen Dingen den Verkauf von Vieh betraf. Ich nehme an, man soll deinen Sahne und so. Wahrscheinlich wollen sich die Interessen vergewissen, ja, vergewissern, dass du nicht niest und deine Hose in Ordnung sind. An deiner Stelle würde ich nicht darauf hinweisen, dass du lesen kannst. Damit konntest du eventuelle Lehrmeister beunruhigen. Und dann begleitest du deinen neuen Herrn und lernst ein Gewerbe, sagt Letzig. Was für eins? Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying to get used to um, making sure I separate the correct sounds from like the umlaut, so like ah versus ah. Nun, das Zimmerhandwerk ist nicht übel, erwiderte Letzig vorsichtig. Oder die Beißkunst? Sie gilt durchaus als ehrenhaft, glaube ich jedenfalls. Ich meine, es muss Leute geben, die stellen. Sonst war das Leben viel zu langweilig. Mord starrte zu Boden. Er war ein lichtlich bewusster Sohn. Wenn er sich an die Tugend des Gehorsams erinnerte, was nicht allzu häufig geschah, geschah. Wenn Vater und Schicksal von ihrem erwarten, eine Ausbildung zu beginnen, wollte er wenigstens ein guter Lehrling sein. Das Zimmerhandwerk erschien ihm allerdings wenig geeignet. Holz konnte ziemlich stur sein und neigte dazu, ein beharrliches Eigenleben zu entwickeln. Außerdem schlitterte es leicht. Und was die Kunst des Planens, die Hellens und Entwendens betraf, die meisten Bewohner der Betonberge waren so arm, dass die sich einen professionellen Job leisten konnten. Na schon, sagt Mord schließlich. Ich versuch's. Aber was machen wir? when McNeeman will. Let's Costa Sicamkov. Eine Ahnung. In Giganta Ich schlage vor, wir warten bis zum Ende des Markets. Bis heute Abend. Besser noch bis Mitternacht. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop with the journey. My throat is definitely starting to feeling it after reading Anne of Green Gables too. That means it's time for studying. Thank you guys for listening. But now we're going to actually get into studying German. I got some flashcards to make. So, I will edit these videos either later this evening or tomorrow and have them up on Father Told. Oh, Aiden, welcome into the Discord. Can I keep the rain noise switch over to the study lo-fi? That's the I'll keep them. And we okay. Okay. Maybe. Let's see.
Temperature. Google. Octopus. Uh, genre. Key. Spoonful. And wrong. Theory. Feel. Excuse me. So, well, I guess it's because English is derived from German. So it makes sense that a lot of German sounds like English. Produzieren, produzieren. Mm. Finley. Konsum. Always. Water. It's actually one of the nice things about Germany is if you go to a bus stop, they'll have a timetable posted right there. They'll also have ways for you to, you know, if there's codes, you can access the website quicker for more information. It's kind of neat.
again. And the right. Okay. You see or is that another thing? You've never been to probably Europe and haven't seen much of Europe, but they love their and it makes going on walks so nice because of all the gardens here. So come late summer, all the lavender and the it's quite ten. Isn't being used as enough. Weird that fest as a noun means like to celebrate or like carnival or something. But fest as a verb or an adjective means like firm or solid. The complexities of the German.
all night. Hmm. Not so. What? And after okay. Help if I to this hotel, William, for this chapter. Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Giving me flashbacks when I came here from the US. For those who don't know, I came from the US on this, like 24 hours notice, as I was escaping an abusive. Um, so I've had to fit every, like, it was so hard to explain thinking at the time, fitting all my important things into like three suitcases, and one suitcase being like a normal suitcase that you would take, like one of the bigger ones, two being the smaller ones. I remember was obviously traveling alone. So like the day started, and we were trying to hurry, um, to be anybody finding out. Me and my a local friend, and my first two planes, uh, um canceled, and they had to be rebooked. So that was like really nerve wracking. But finally, they got me on a flight to JFK. From then, I would go to the UK and then here to Germany. So as we're on our way to JFK, storm hit, and so they had to reroute to Washington. Well, rerouting to Washington made me late for my UK flight, and so I didn't make it because I was going to travel like overnight. So I ended up having to stay. I spent the night at JFK. Luckily, I had friends who were like done with me and stuff because like most people who have been abused, you don't get to be left alone a lot. So traveling across the world by myself was really, really scary. And finally got on the plane to go to the UK. And because of all the delays, I was actually going to have to spend the night. Um, oh, wait, no, I had actually planned it so I could go into London and some UK friends would come and visit me and, like, quote unquote, cheer me up and everything. But that ended up not happening because of the delays. So I had to and get a hotel room on the fly. I remember when I booked it, got the confirmation and everything. So I went in and it's like, here's my, reservation information. No, you're not supposed to be here for like another. You freaking serious? So then like had to rebook, had to cancel that. But I was having to do that by carrying around, three luggage by myself, plus a carry-on bag. Oh, it was such a nightmare. I mean, luckily, airports have, like, the luggage carrier thingies, like, almost like right at the entrance. So it's really, 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 really helpful. But, like, going out of Heathrow and back, and having to juggle those suitcases by myself was a pain. And then I get back to Heathrow and supposed to, come here to land in Hamburg. And they get us on the plane and we're not taking off because they found a clip in one of the propellers. So then they had to move us to a different plane. So finally got to take off from there. And so finally make it to Hamburg. And there was a problem at immigration? Customs. I think it was customs. I don't know, but there was an issue that held up everything. And it was Wacken Weekend, which, if you don't know, was like the largest metal event in the world. So, like, double whammy. But I don't know what the issue was, but there were like police security walking around with guns. Like big old assault guns, too. That was fascinating. But finally get out of there. I had taken so long in line that they had to grab my baggage and hold it at a desk. And so I went to grab one of the luggage things that help you carry. You had to have an euro. I didn't have an euro. I was so lucky that Dave was waiting on the other side to help me. Because at that point, I was just so freaking done juggling all that. Oh, God. That was not fun. I mean, in a way it was, because I got to see, places I had never been to before. Even if it was just from, like, inside of an airport or whatever. But it was still fun to look out the windows from above and look. Oh yeah, as we were landing in Hamburg, I remember looking and just thinking, "Oh my god, everything is so green." And it's not like it's a vibrant green. Like it just sticks out. It's hard to explain. It's different from the US, I can tell you that. Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, we got back. We took the train to where we live now. And like as we're walking back to the apartment, like you can just smell. Like if you've never really been outside of the U or like where you currently live. It's weird, you can just smell the green. Everything smells like leaves and trees and bushes and flowers and grass and it was wild. Sorry, that's my tangent. The fitness. Huh? Yes. Oh, that's another thing. If you're not from the EU, exercise stuff is like a big deal. Pushed. AJ. Four means includes 2 meals. Do it. Adventure story. Is there an ending to Vintage Story? Hmm. Oh, another game. What game? Yeah. I think would like since you have like this life. Oh, I wonder if Dave would like that since he likes Souls likes. Mm, actually, let me look. For all I know, he might have it on the. This looks like. Ooh. It combines Soul's legs with a neck. Oh, no smoking room. Oops, yeah. Well, good news is that game you started isn't like an open-ended game, so at least you know there is an end. I was like, it smells like if Dave were here cooking. He's not.
I like to for the achievement playthrough. Uh, I I dislike. Okay, I like DLCs and I don't, because I feel like DLCs are a much better option than like World of Warcraft does, because you still get content. Maybe it's not as much content, but it's still content for like less than half the price. But like if you want 100% thing just off the base game, uh, mhm. For one of the DLC thing that is really cool. The other is dungeon. Yeah, I can see that. Ew. Oh my. Uber. Uber. These are two chapters. Yeah, I could finish H2 by the B1. Oh, man.
stretchy for today. Okay, so like beginning of last week, for those who don't know, I had a Germany. It's either a very unhappy meniscus or I tore it. One of the two. I was on anti-inflammatories for a week because it was quite swollen. They went without my first anti-inflammatory for a day, and it swelled right back. So we've been doing. So it was two 700 milligrams a day. Been doing half, one half in the morning, like the last few days, and so today's my first day without the half, and it's been quite stiff. But hopefully that's improved. Hopefully it doesn't swell again. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna get up and stretch. I'll get some more water. Be right back. I'm back. Sorry. It took a little longer because I decided. Get dawn. Okay. We can do some Nico's. I want to just relax for a minute. I don't think there's a time in that, right? Relax. Dave always says take breaks. Do it then. Three. That's all. Good. Story. For those who have not played this game or what have you, this is a really good game. Because the music in this is actually quite nice. I like it. We need to play the three of us with Bear. I think playing with you and Bear. Am I? Damn it. Is this better? That does not bode well for my reading. Dave wanted me to set up a noise gate, and I did. Oh, okay, so I need to... I did. Yes, my mic will fit right in front of me, but it's behind my keyboard. Hopefully that's better. But now part of my U. What if... Take off. Yeah, Dave and I need to go over my settings and stuff. Because the issue is, if you haven't guessed, I'm quiet. I'm a quiet person. For good reasons, mind you. Okay, this should be... Yeah, this should be better. I have it in front of my keyboard now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a quiet person. Dave is really loud. Like, even when I'm streaming, and he's just chilling out, just him talking, you know, you could hear him, even if he's, like, not really loud, just because, like I said, he's loud. So yeah, it's, we gotta go over some of this stuff. Oh yeah, look Drake, I made a basket. Or a reed chest. I found enough reeds. I'm gonna go check my reed farm.
because there were wolves. But yeah, we're gonna try to make it so like when either one of us is streaming or like if we want to collab, you can hear me and not hear him. Which is it's gonna be a chore in and of itself because like I said, he's really long. I love the man, but oh yeah, that reminds me, I actually had Dave yell before. And oh dear God. You don't want to hear Dave yell. It's really scary. Oh, food. We need food too. And I eat about that scared me. Oh yeah, okay, so what I was gonna try to work on next after getting some food is like getting a pickaxe so I can start getting bronze and stuff. The jumping is not helping when I'm hungry. I'm gonna try to get this bunny. Where'd it go? I was gonna try to get the bunny. Yeah, concern at some point you need to play. Yeah, I'm not looking forward on doing that because right now I'm struggling as it is. I did get some rice seeds, so I planted those to get those going. I'm gonna try to plant things as I get them to, you know. Aha, I found you. Too bad you can't fish. Fishing would be nice. Nope, 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 nope. That's not a rabbit. That's a wolf. I thought that was a rabbit. Okay, so the wolves are still around. They're just over there. Great. Okay. These, as they are. Yeah, it's not much, but
Oh yeah, I'm waiting on these turnips to grow again. I got turnip seeds from those and I lost them because I fell in that hole and died. The B, C, X, there we go. Sorry. Where'd you go? I don't want to kill the baby ones. Because, yeah, I could grow up and eventually capture them. That would be much preferable. Oh, that was thunder. Or lightning, rather. I don't think I've been this way. A horse or a wolf? Hard to tell. Definitely help if my monitor would stop flickering. We'll take those. Yep. I know a good thing when I see it. I could have made a little basin here. Would have been quaint. Rooms or something. Keep going this way. I'm gonna run into the wolves again. I mean, they were right here. Oh, there's the... Oh, or is that a rabbit? That's a proper rabbit. We're in new territory, by the way. He's back. Hi, Dave. I feel weird. Over the last plus 7 years, my body is used to the constant state of panic and stress. And now I'm sitting here feeling sore and thinking, is something wrong? Oh, you're to the point struggling with... Oh, okay. And it happened. I mean, that's what happened with Madrick. And I'll be right back. I'll get the window. Okay, I'm back.
Bye-bye, I'm dying.
Okay, oh, because
Where's
everything
Animal Mouse?
is right. I finished a big thing in my life. We'll have a new apartment soon, and moving is taken care of. I might even have a new workplace assured. That is awesome. Congratulations. That is uber pog. But I made a bed and slept in it. Can you set your spawn point to like your home? Hey, if you like eggs, can I pick up the eggs? Greg says hi.
Boy,
Yeah, I have a hay bed. I made one last night and slept in it even. I'm a little surprised. We'll take a bit of a detour so I can more food. Yeah, I just died and it sent me back to where I originally spawned even though I have a bed and slept in it. I love mushrooms. Not only do they look awesome, they taste quite nice. But I love mushrooms. Not only do they look awesome, they taste good. Yes, I love mushrooms now. I didn't in the US.
very skeptical when I bought them to you the first.
Oh yeah, you said champions were on sale this week. Yeah, we had to do something with champions. He didn't mention anything to me about it. It's not like Minecraft. To set a respawn point. Oh. I take doing that as no easy feat. I don't recommend that you eat anything in the US. Okay, so like legit, when I first came over, it took almost a whole year for my stomach to adjust.
2 years. How? Oh, not having.
No, I still do that.
Tell them about.
Yeah, I ate a Reese bar and yeah, I got punched in the bum. It made me sick. Okay, and it works only okay. I have basic rules. So is it only works 20 times and you have to do it again? Or is it just 20 times period? A whole year for your stomach to recognize proper food? Yeah.
warm in your belly still.
Yeah, yeah, I still struggle with things like sauerkraut and cabbage. Like sauerkraut, if I have too much of it, will make me sick. But I think last time we got some creme fraiche and I did better with it. I know. It could also be that I'm adjusting now that I have it. I recognize that. Oh, what's this over here? I'm coming. Dankeschön. They're what? Oh. They really stick to your teeth. I don't like it. Oh, they're tasty. Have I had kale slaw made with German vegetables? Dave, have I? He said kale.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's a coleslaw made with carrots, green onion, mayonnaise, and vinegar count. Also, thank you, Extra. I appreciate it. Well, and onion. And also welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. Yeah, it's really good. It's one of my favorite things to have. Fish! Oh, Dave wants to know if you mean kraut salad. Come on, I'm gonna make a knife so I can... Okay, I need a branch. I mean the thing with cabbage, carrots, yogurt, and so on. I don't know. Dave has me try a lot of things. Ah, there you are.
You'll do.
Oh, Dave said they use vinegar for that up here. And oil.
Go for it.
So it does look like there is fishing. Yay! Oh, I see. You're in the weird salad dressing part of Germany. Yeah, we're in the north. We're so north. We're north of Hamburg. Well, come visit us sometime, Drake. Drake said he would love to live near the coast because he likes fish.
No, we don't want them.
Also, the gummies were good once you get past how picky they are. Okay, I gotta get back to my body. I can't. Can't forage around all night. Brother, we are cabbage heads. According to Dave, this small area here produces blah 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 amount of cabbage for the entire world. When are we gonna do cabbage 2.0 that cleans itself? Hi, Lars. Ask Dave. He's the cabbage head. That is not a mousy question. That's what I want. I want that.
Haven't you already?
I don't know. I know nothing. No, nothing. No, butterfly. I'll save you. Okay, he saved himself. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to get out this way. wee. Ooh, that was close. Oh, that was close. Okay. We're going around this way. Also, proper white cabbage will have no dirt once you are past the top layer, which should be removed anyways. When you add coconut oil to the pan, so it flips easier to... Alright, there's the wolf that killed me. Wolves. Aww. Poor chick. The world will not remember you. Here we go around the wolves. Where's my stuff? I wasn't dead for that long. Maybe because... Oh, I still have my armor, but what else do I have on me? There was no way I've been, I guess I have been gone for probably close to 20 minutes. Yeah, it's probably gone. Shame. Unless... Does armor sink? Nope, okay. Nope, it's just gone. Okay, that's fine. I think I did have something good, but it's whatever. Robble. Every single house around here has some edible berries or plants in their garden. As it should be. Like, if Dave and I ever get a chance to do stuff like that, I want to grow tomatoes. Yeah, we just need a balcony. We don't have a balcony. Thanks, Obama. Bye, Eisenhower. Oh, thanks, Eisenhower. Rhubarb and red currants are the most common. Yeah, I was never a fan of rhubarb. But that may be different here. That. Oh, I had my logs in my fire. What? Huh? Why? Whatever, I need a branch. So I can plant these seeds and get... Oh, I lost my basket! God damn it. Yeah, Obama ran away with the balcony, guys. It's all his fault nobody has balconies anymore.
Oh, him taking the ratchet and deconstructing it, the bastard.
How could he? So yeah, we're gonna need some more of these. Okay, now let's get some sticks. Remember to replant. Replanting is important. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we need to craft an axe. I need to get some wood. Then I can cook my fish. Fish. Hey, have you seen the crafting in this game? I'm crafting an axe head. And then you take the axe head. Pick. Axe. Du bist der Hammer. Hammer. I need wood.
Yippee! Timber! All that for 4 logs. Yippee! I'm gonna go this way. I don't want to know what that is. I'm gonna act like it doesn't exist. And it's gonna be just fine. So logs, axe, firewood, firewood. And ignite. Hey Dave, this is how you start a fire. I cook the fish. Does Germany have those palm trees that give you 3rd-degree burns? We play with them all the time over here. Children love them. I'm not sure. Oh, I also lost my torch. Madge. That'll be fine. Let's make a new torch. Fine. Doesn't sound very fun.
Was
Oh, that's the one that you told me about if I see it to call you. What was the pattern? There we go. Micah! Yeah, do the thing, do the thing. You should give Micah a shout out. You should do that. If you're a good mod, you will. No, you're not. Go check out Micah. She's really cute. I'm from Bates. Uh-huh.
it's a photo. That stuff. Highly talk.
Yeah. No, you're cuter.
And this is my stream, so my word is law. Oh, but yeah, this is the vintage story. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it looks a bit like Minecraft. Ew,
Well, that is already.
that looks yuck. A what? Oh, a thing. But, let me see if I have crafting stuff. Ah, I need another granite stone. I have to be careful, there's a bear around here. Okay, go back to the house. Cause yeah, bear. So in order to craft, you put your stone in your hand and you go bump, bump. I need a spearhead. Spearhead. Yeah. Now I have a spear. Wow. Yeah, but this game, yeah. They were right to make it a standalone because this is so freaking... Oh yeah, I was gonna look into smelting. First, you will need to smelt copper, and later on bronze. You will need coal, copper. Ah, so you gotta do clay first, and then smelting. Produces many pottery items, and also tools. Tool mods. But clay. And then what do with it? Oh, I also need to make my blah, 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 blah. No, that's not it. That's not it. Ah. I hear a wolf. Okay, I'll show you the dangerous part. I gotta put away. Oh, you can't do that, I see. That's valuable. That's gonna expire, so I don't care. I'm not gonna be able to get to that in time. That in there. So, shift, place on the ground. Yeah, let me get rid of my important bits. I won't have to remake them. What? Hang on, I can switch that out and put those in there because those are important. Roll shift. Put the tool there. Yeah, it is. Where's my spear? Alright, let's go find something dangerous. It's nighttime, so it's not gonna be difficult. Oh, but unlike Minecraft, it doesn't have, creepers and stuff. It has, drifters. And they are truly horrifying. I saw one monster that looks like a Wendigo. But instead, you have wolves and bears. There was a bear here. Where did it go? Where are you, bear? Why? Wow. I've never killed an aggressive being before. Wait, where are you going? There you go. Ah! There, it got me. Also, you can't just go around digging around underground. You need to have a hard enough metal pickaxe to break certain stone. Well, luckily- oh, wait, I'm still alive! Holy shit, I thought I was dead! I learned this trick from Ark. I did it! I killed the bear! Wait, where did it go? There it is. Oh, too bad none of that's gonna keep. I mean, the meat will. Everything else won't. Oh god. Okay, where's home? Home's that way. I'm not pushing my luck. I'm going home. And Buck says the wolves returned. I had wolves camping out my base. It was sad. Marcus. Hey. I need the firewood. We cook the meat. Oh. Oh yeah, this is how you start a fire. Oh, so Dave and I have, HDR? Yeah, we have HDR monitors, that's why. Where's brightness? What setting is that under? I'm under graphics. Yeah, because I noticed it seems darker on stream than it is for me.
West of.
Yeah, I was trying to see if, oh, gamma. Yeah, that's as high as I can make it.
Stuff me. Okay.
Maybe look the torch pattern and get a torch. I want to know how to break a torch, twat monkey. There we go. Thank you. That'll help. Want it there. Here, start. Click. There we go. There, now you can see. Hi there. Okay, so this is how you start a fire. You have to have a fire starter kit, and you go wee. There we go. We have fire. It is. Also like Minecraft, you can break it, carry it, and then hit X, I think. Why is Bear ignoring you? Also. My favorite German bear. Food. I'm eating it. I'm not even gonna waste time. I hate to break it to you, Bear, but I killed a bear. Need more wood. It's a never-ending cycle. Dave, you have options for us for food today? You have options for us for food today? Nom nom nom. Well, that's exciting. We killed a bear. What do I do with the lump of fat? I wish I could do things with these leather hides. I'm gonna lose my fire star. So wait, I can... Yay! I can at least save one of them. It was not such a waste. I do this. Oh my god, yes. We have pants. Go back. Okay, I might be able to make something with that. I might be able to make like a top for it. We'll see. Still looking like oh, there's no point in going. I need to get to working on clay, apparently. Question. Learn a master pottery. Okay. I just need to go and shovel up some... Oh, that's good, because I can do some terrain shaping. No, not wolves again. I need health. That bear took too much of it. Yeah, bear, give me my health back.
Oh, honey.
Oh, and Dave says, and the honey. So I need to... There we go. Dave says, give back the honey. Nom. Oh, no more fire. You stole it fair and square, huh? Oh, fire one. Oh, yay, it did cook in time. Okay. Well, that is a good place to end it because we gotta go grocery shopping and cook, and today is Dave's stream night. Make sure you follow Dave because he's cute. Yep, I got flipped off. Let's find somebody to raid. I know who I'm gonna raid. At least I have an idea of who I'm gonna raid. He's a little twat monkey. We're gonna raid Joe. Joe is doing art. Oh, Dave, he is so niedlich. Ich sage das jeden Tag. Okay, there you go. There's a raid message if you so choose to use one. If not, that's fine too. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll get the ASMR videos up soon, either today or tomorrow. And yeah, we'll probably do this tomorrow. I'm addicted to this now. I blame Drake, everybody. Hashtag blame Drake. Hashtag blame. There we go. Have fun with that. Yeah, this is where I love you and leave you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And a good one. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and to follow my Twitch, Twitter, and Discords for more updates on when and if I'll be live or if there will be any delays in videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.